Next up, the program says that we have a presentation from DE-CIX on IXP Plus based observations on routing changes during disruptions. But we have a change of presenter, so it's at Bernard Spies, but it'll actually be Kaj Kjellgren who will be giving the presentation. Take it away, Kaj.
Yep. Hi. Let's see. Does this work? Can everyone hear me? Great. So basically, first of all, hi, I'm Kaj Kjellgren. You guys have probably seen me around for many years. I used to work for NetNode. I was one of the first employees there together with Curtis and built it up since 2002. And I'm not there anymore. So basically, surprise, I'm now at DE-CIX. And yeah, this is going to be fun. If I'm just getting this thing off. Thank you so much. Anyway, so the presentation here is kind of interesting. It's about the cable breaks in the Middle East. It's Bernd Spies who actually did most of the work. I've been having the honor to help him out the past, well, few days. And we've been digging through quite a lot of stuff to get this done. It is not a presentation that is ready as such. This is work under progress. So we're gonna, again, afterwards ask you about your data to get this even better. But there's some interesting stuff to take away from this that can be very much applied to the situation we have here in the Nordics. And before I really begin, click. Ah, yeah. So this is the marketing slide. We need to put it up here, otherwise we will get spanked by the marketing department. So here it is, biggest cloud internet exchange operator in the world. You know all this already. So we are in a lot of places, and yeah, there's one dot missing, and it's soon gonna be there. You can probably figure out where. Anyway, I don't know if a lot of you follow Roderick Beck. Anyone knows who it is? Okay, yeah, it's a few. So he's a guy who has a very good blog about sea cables around the world. And if you don't follow him, please do. He also puts in tons of pricing and stuff and actually sells capacity. So you have to sort of sort that out if you're not interested. But the thing he writes about cables is very interesting. So he has some good insights, especially if you, like me, are a bit of a sea cable nerd, then it's excellent information. Anyway, the 5th of September, there was something going on down in the Red Sea. Cable breaks started appearing. And as you can see, there's like this huge choke point right outside Yemen. So, I mean, basically the whole of the Red Sea is a choke point. So the fibers are pretty densely packed on the sea bottom. It's a shallow sea, and there's a lot of traffic. So these three combinations makes it a sorry place to have fiber cables. But there are no other seas going that way. So this is where a lot of the traffic to Europe passes through. So the 5th and the 6th, actually, this continued because this boat outside of Yemen was dragging an anchor, and it cut one fiber after other. And it was really hard to get a good grip on exactly when a cable broke and when the next one broke. So digging through a lot of Kentic blogs and BGP tools and Cloudflare radar and also news outlets, this is about the timeline I managed to compile, right? So it started around afternoon the 5th, and it ended right before lunch the day after the 6th. How long it's going to take to fix this, we don't know. The last time this happened outside Yemen, it took 6 months because the cable ships cannot get in there because their insurances are not valid there because they're Houthi rebels who want to blow shit up. So it's very tough to get the cable ships in place and be sure that they are secure. So we'll see how long time this is going to take. But anyway, in this presentation, I'm going to try to tell you the insights that we got from the IXPs that we operate. And also, we collected some RIPE Atlas data and statistics from other IXPs. And also, I'm going to have some general comments on this whole thing. and what it actually could help us with in this region. And no, I'm not going to give you the perfect solution, because right now there is none for every case, but at least some pointers. So, assumption number one, when this happened, I mean, I saw this on Roderick's blog, and I'm like, holy shit, this is going to make a huge impact. And yeah, we thought it was going to be a big change in IXP traffic. So, starting looking around the world, Jeddah, nothing there actually. And then DE-CIX, Jeddah in Riyadh, still, I mean, maybe you can see something there, but nothing really spectacular. Again, nothing spectacular in Muscat. So this continued, and we sort of thought like, why? This should show up somewhere. So yeah, okay, in Djibouti there was actually some traces of that something is going on, or went on. But I mean, if we look at all the places we looked at and then compare to that something happened somewhere, it still was almost nothing happened, right? So that's it, the presentation over and I go. Well, not really, because then we started checking in Frankfurt, and we got some weird indications. First of all, we see the traffic dipping down, which is expected in some ways, but then we see the traffic picking up like weeks afterwards and continuing. Looked at one of the customers, CDN customer, and they lost a substantial amount of traffic, or not lost, it got routed somewhere else, right? Another customer, even more so. Okay, so, well, we didn't lose any traffic, but some traffic went away, and even weirder, some traffic came in. So then we started sort of thinking about why this could be some kind of routing mystery, right? So, okay, where did the traffic go? So after searching around, not very long, Marseille was an interesting place. And you can basically see, oh, Frankfurt, Marseille, okay, never mind. You can see that the traffic actually picks up here, but it doesn't sort of dump there, it takes a while. And this is due to a rebalance, of course, from broken capacities. But I mean, it wasn't like switch over in once, it took a while. And then also went back, although the fiber was not fixed in any way. And also, if we look at how long it took them to shift over the traffic, if we sort of summarized from like all the FRA outbound traffic against the region, and then FRA inbound traffic from the region, same for Marseille. And we see that it's actually kind of a high percentage of networks that took more than a day to get the traffic rerouted somewhere. And I mean, if you look at percentages, it's everything from like 13% to 50% of being later than automatic switchover, basically. This is, if it's delayed for a day or more, then we can assume that this is some poor guy or girl sitting there and like, holy shit, yeah. So okay, maybe we didn't look deep enough, because we don't understand really what happened. So then we looked at the second half of September, and we see, like in Dubai, the traffic is going up and peaking, which is probably interesting because that's where the traffic should go. But why did it happen sort of a bit after? Well, that's because manual intervention probably. But still, I mean, this is traffic that should be local from the start. So why wasn't it local before? And same thing in Muscat, right? Now, some IXPs need a lot of time. Well, general trend, no, but there are some interesting exceptions, and that was basically where we got this idea that if we just continue collecting some interesting observations, maybe we can figure out what the hell went on. And India was also interesting. They increased their local traffic when the fiber to Europe broke down. And I mean, really that shouldn't be happening because the local traffic should have been local from the start, right? But clearly, it just wasn't. So something is seen in India, but we don't really know what, so we need to dig into that a bit more. But also, in the Middle East, there was some other problems because basically, this is from one of the IX. We will not say which one it is, but it doesn't matter because this is a usual problem in some regions, Middle East especially, actually. And that is that you tend to fill your links as much as humanly possible to make it as economical as possible. And we all know that if you start filling above 70%, you are in a bad territory, because as soon as your spikes hit the roof, you get resends, and then the efficiency just dumps. So I mean, you have no use for these links. They are completely and utterly useless. But I mean, we shouldn't be too hard on that because it is a different kind of economy. It's not as in Europe where you see that, oh, we're over 50% or 60% on this link. Let's throw in another 400 gigs, because that is really, really expensive in some regions. And also as an engineer, to try to get the attention of somebody senior enough to sign that off and actually get them to understand what it means. Yeah, I mean, it's not a simple solution. And then probably some poor guy or girl got fired over this anyway. So, I mean, yeah, that's about how fair it is. But yeah, we can conclude 100% load is not a bad idea. It's a super bad idea. So yeah, then we looked a bit more about the routing, because now we're starting to really think about all these different happenings. They sort of point in one direction. And to make it even clearer, here's an interesting thing. So this is one big network in Saudi Arabia going to one big network in UAE. Why would that be affected by the capacity to Europe going down? That is weird, right? You can clearly see here that the latency goes up a lot when it breaks. Now, even weirder, this one is good. So that's the break, and the latency improved. So that means we think, or well, I mean, it's not like a far-fetched thought, that they were actually sending traffic that was supposed to go to Saudi, from Saudi to UAE via Europe. And when the stuff broke, then all of a sudden, like, the routing goes, oh, right, oh, next door, how nice. So, and you can see there's a huge difference in latency here, right? So, I mean, why? So the only reason, but one of the reasons we can figure out is that you don't do your routing decisions in your network. You just let BGP do its thing. Now, the problem when you have long cables, doesn't matter if it's terrestrial or subsea, is that it's one hop. So your AS path is actually pretty short, even though you're sending light across half the planet. So if you don't do anything active with this, it's very easy that your AS path is just as long going directly between those two countries as it is jumping one hop through Marseille or Frankfurt and then back again. And this is probably exactly what happened. So then you are sort of 7 steps down into the BGP decision table into what? Timestamps. So basically, the oldest BGP session wins. And since these cables have been around for a while, then yeah, most probably it's one of the older BGP sessions. So you send all your traffic that way. Now, yeah, I mean, that capacity is really expensive. So yeah, if you want to throw money in the sea, literally, then yeah, go ahead. Anyway, and also there's a bit of delay in this. So this means that probably somebody went, oh, right. Oh, that was a lot faster. Geez, I wonder when I'm going to learn BGP. Yeah. So we also wanted to check with hyperscalers. And, well, we're working to getting their statements back. We haven't had so much time on working with it. So we got a few, but it's not enough to compile, a wholehearted picture from it. So if we have any hyperscalers here, please, if you want to get involved in this little project, then it would be very nice. Same thing with operators. We are trying to reach a bunch of them and see if we can get some information. And I know there's some operators in this room, so it would be interesting to see what happens. If we can get some more information about that. So anyway, as you can see, this actually have some bearing on the fiber cable breaks that we have had in the Baltic lately. And the conclusions from this is basically, well, there's a few points I would say, like make sure your routing policy is keeping local things locally. Don't trombone stuff. I mean, I'm from Sweden. We used to have a fantastic ball at this, sending traffic from Stockholm, one operator to another operator in Stockholm. That was fine. But when you had one guy sitting up in Luleå and another guy sitting in Luleå, then the traffic went down to Stockholm and then back up to Luleå. It was, yeah. Now that is fixed, right? But I mean, I'm not going to put myself on a high horse or something, because this is done all over the world. It's still done in many places. One of the most classical parts was done in Brazil, who sent everything to Miami and back. Doesn't matter if it was your neighbor. Oh, his packets went to Miami. So make sure that your routing policy is keeping local things locally. Yeah, don't let the timestamps decide the routing. That is, to be honest, completely bloody obvious by this time, but make sure that you have a policy. I mean, use meds, use prepend, use whatever. Local preference, absolutely. That's basically the 3 ways. But don't let the timestamp do it for you, because, well, I mean, you can do it about 1 step further and then everything breaks down. So, yeah. Anyway, have redundancy local. If you have important links for an IX, for your upstream, whatever, I mean, make sure it's not 1 link. Have 2 at least. And maybe not in the subsea cable next to the first one, because if there's an anchor drag, well, chances are they're not aiming very good, so they're not going to pick 1 fiber out and leave the others. They're going to go straight through, right? And if we have, like in Baltic Sea, some guy driving a fucking cargo ship for 24 hours, more or less, with an anchor dragging, without noticing, right? Then I mean, please use different cable stations for your for the fiber exiting. Use, well, obviously different fibers as well. And if you don't have more than 1 cable station, then yeah, then maybe a terrestrial network. Even if the latency is a lot more, then at least have that as a backup path. What else? Yeah, leave headroom on your critical links and peers, because when stuff like that happens, it will actually fluctuate the traffic across the globe. So it will not only hit locally, as we see. I mean, we see this up in this fluctuation of traffic from the Middle East up here. So, yeah, make sure there's room on them. What else? Yeah, automate your failovers as much as possible. But not only that, also test it. Because I know from experience that you have like a secondary route that you can choose through your ROADM network. And then when push comes to shove and you're going to try it, and you realize, oh, right, the attenuation was a bit too high. We cannot take this service up on, I don't know, 200 or 400 gig. It's impossible because, well, the fiber has degraded, the connector somewhere has made the dampening just a little tiny bit more, and then you're screwed. So test it. It's not that hard. Also, learn from incidents like this. Make sure that you apply this in your network. Like, go back home and check your local prefs or meds or whatever. And improve. Don't just say, oh, that was close, and go have another coffee. Well, okay, go have another coffee, and then make sure to fix it. And also, this is actually not the problem at these nogs. This is a problem in other places of the world, where you tend to send the sea level or the high brass who wants to go for the fancy drinks and maybe not have the engineering competence to actually figure out what we're talking about, right? You need to send competent engineers to the nogs, and they will fast also become more competent engineers and also help fix stuff. As I said, in the Nordics, this is not the problem, I would say. And again, we need more data to make this presentation better and also make this into some kind of a final report on what happened really. So if you are an operator or a CDN, please, please, please get back to us. And yeah, that's about it. And as I said, I'm now at DE-CIX. I'll be working closely with Bernd, and I will be working very closely with Eric about the Nordics. Nordics is very close to me, as I am from the Nordics. So if you have any questions or whatever, just come and talk to us. Thank you so much.
You will both be here for dinner. You will both be here for dinner and sauna?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you have all evening to talk to them.
Yeah. And any questions?
I think, because we are running so late in time, we'll leave the questions for sauna.
Perfect. Let's do it.